Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, check. This is a test. Check, check. 1, 2, 3, check. This is a test. Check, check. 1, 2, 3, check. This is a test. Check, check. 1, 2, 3, check. Hey, this is a test. We got anybody out there? Check, check. 1, 2, 3, check. Hey, this is a test. If you're out there and wait there, go ahead and pop in. We're not going to be on here as long as we did the last test, guys, but we'll be on here a little bit. Hey, actually got an image out there and wait there. Go ahead and pop in. We're not going to be on here. A few things I need to iron out here. We'll be on here a little bit. Oh, good. We got 20 people popped on. Nobody's got anything else better to do. Pop in. I know I don't. A few things I need to do, but iron out. I'd rather do this. Oh, good. We got 20 people popped on. Nobody's got anything else better to do. One of the things that I wanted to do was rather do this. Oh, good. We got 20 people. Wanted to make certain I could see comments better. One of the things that I wanted to do, and voila, got them right here. So much better. And to make certain I could see. We're going to stay here this evening until I run out of wine in this. And just so you know, Missy's working sick bay again. And by the way, it is our anniversary. We're going to stay 4 years married to Marcia and Missy. Run out of wine and she's put up with me. Just so you know, Missy's working sick bay again. And by the way, it is I'll be able to acknowledge you better. We're going to stay 4 years married to Marcia. Excuse me, we are still perfecting this. I don't know yet. So I'll be able what time the regular stream is going to be on. I'm thinking we're going to have one once per week that will have a guest, and then there will be others where we just pop on at any time. Regular stream, and especially after a video production. In fact, a lot of the productions may be done this way. But the ones where we're going to have a guest, especially after we're still working on, in fact, when that's going to be, and I'll let you know. So just so you know, I've got Mr. Bag here. Hello, Jimmy. I will for two. I'm still working on President Chris. Hey, Darren Dahl. Thank y'all. Just so you know, I've got Mr. I do want to know this. Were any of you? Let's see. Were any of you guys here last week when we did this? Hey, Gorilla, Dragonfire, John, Bruno. Just so you know, I've got Mr. I do want to know this. Were any of you? Gorilla Killer. Any of you guys here? Says we're loud and clear. If you were here last week when we did test number 1, I wasn't real happy with the audio. Is it a little bit clearer this time? Not as much noise last week when we did test number 1. Coming in good. Thanks, Louis Scout. I'm real happy with the audio. Is it Love and Life, says Roger. Not as much noise last week when we did test number 1. Coming in good. Thanks, Louis Scout. I'm real happy with the audio. Missing the Tetris in the background. Tetris is back there. Somewhere, I think, probably right up there. Missing the Tetris in the background. Tetris is there, man. And breakouts going on back over here, right up there. And there's always going to be something weird going on. So Tetris in the background. Oh, it's there. It's there, man. And breakouts going on back over here. There's an echo. And there's always going to be something weird going on. So Tetris in the background. Oh, it's there. It's there, man. And breakouts going on back over here. There's an echo. And there's always going to be something weird going on. So Tetris in the background. Okay, is there an echo now? Let me know, did it go away? They got it? Echo's gone? Okay, that's good. Thank you. Now I know I can't do that. He knows what I'm talking about. We can't do that. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Thank you. That's why we're doing this. I appreciate that, guys. Dr. Machine Work 1. You said I sound better after you had a couple of shots. What are you drinking? Okay, look, I really wouldn't mind, well, we're all going to be on here for a few minutes. I wouldn't mind some of you reminding me where you're from, because it's 10 o'clock here in Central Standard Time. Uh, I realize the folks in UK, Norway, Netherlands, they're 7 hours ahead of us. So any of these guys we got on there, they've been up all night or they're really up early. So I really don't expect a lot of them right now. In Australia, those mates over there, they're 17 hours ahead of us. So I'm just really curious where everyone is right now. We got Chicago, Huntington Beach, California, San Jose, South Carolina, New York City, California, New York, Long Island, Seattle. Stonemason is not a Freemason, and it's 4:29 a.m. in Great Britain. What are you doing? Did you just get up, or have you been up? That's what I want to know. New York, Phoenix, Atlanta, Brooklyn. Philip C., you've been from Brooklyn. Tell me the truth. Do I have an accent? I've been trying to tell Chris Maroney that I don't have one, but he doesn't believe me. West Virginia. Hey, Gorilla Killer, you're in Tennessee. Okay, this is really bad, but before we look at something here, what, Killer, can you tell me what did Tennessee? Can you answer that for me? You're from Tennessee, so what did Tennessee? The same thing Arkansas. I'm sorry. That's bad. Thank you for an American accent. That's right. Um, I tell you what, I'm having trouble figuring out which mouse. I've got so many things going on here, and some of this stuff behind me actually works. Y'all don't think I'm fooling you, but I've actually got some operational items behind me, and really on this other side too. This isn't the set we're going to be using when we have people on the show. We've got another one, and I'll try to show that to you in a minute. That's the wrong one. Okay. We've got a couple of hundred people on here. So let's take a look at something that there's kind of a famous Mars image that it just happened to be a folder on here today. I realize we've made a production about this before, and so have others, but I noticed a few things that I really want people to take interest in. And I want to switch over to this. And actually, it is from, and this is the only thing we're really going to look at, just so we will say we have done something and it was more than a test. On Sol 1454, and everybody understands that Sol is Martian Day, right? That's the Martian Day that the Curiosity rover, or any of them, they go by Sol. It means the day that they were there. They go by Sols, which means sun. I don't. They go by it. Martians, I don't know, but that's what SOL means. And I want to show you something. We have seen this before, and I want you to take a look, folks. If I can remember how we do this. There we go. Okay, we've all seen this, right? Now look at this. This is different. What am I still doing here? I think I wanted it like this. So we all remember this. We've seen this. This is a great shot. And the thing about this is, I believe I put out a few productions on this, and I know others have as well. But Mr. M-Bag, the wine's fine. How did you know that was wine in there? I've told you before. It's a Cab Sav black box. Okay. Anyway, this we've seen this, and I want to show you a few things about it that I've discovered. That's one view of it, and this is another one. These were actually, I believe, taken on different days and had a slightly different camera angle. I actually like this one better, as most of you have seen this before. You can really see some definition there in I mean, there's a square right there, and there's several of them, and there's a circle right about here. We've got an opening. And the thing about this is, I believe I remember this being measured as only as less than 4 feet across from here to here. It's not large at all. And one of the important things to remember is this item right here is a separate piece. We've looked at this and thought in the past this is one big piece, but it's not. And this is by far the most important thing in these images from these days, and I'm about to show you that. We're looking at this a lot, but there's a whole lot more. There's a lot of what we call obfuscation right here, where they went in and the software, whatever did it, went in and mashed this out. But I want you to check some stuff out here. Okay, this is where I believe we've showed this before. We separated this image from this so you can kind of see this one is closer than this one, and we've used 3D to see this. I'll do this one more time. A lot of people can't see the 3D imagery, but we did that to kind of show you. And then this is a look at that hill, which is 23 feet tall. Now, we're not seeing all 23 feet, okay? This is one of the things we got to get straight on these images is they're not always as big as we think, and they're not always as small as we think. They're hard to gauge, but we go over there and we actually measure them over on the site where you can do that, and we're going to have a whole production on how you can do that yourself. And I'd love to have help because it is time consuming. This is a mosaic made from lift mass cam imagery from Curiosity. And that object we were just looking at is right here. The objects. Okay, you can see it now. Okay. But, you know, you really need to look around and notice the other objects that are laying around here. When you realize just how distinct these shapes are, you start realizing that these others are as well, even though color and texture has been changed. And if you look in the background, you notice very distinct straight lines back here because that's the structure that's behind these buttes. They're not buttes. There's architecture behind them. A lot of this dirt that you see down here is not even dirt, I'm telling you. This gets better and better because these objects right here, and something I was discussing with Kim Carrier today, the man who has been sculpting these models that we're turning into computerized 3D models. We're going to quit talking about so much about how these aren't rocks. We know they're not. We know that. We're going to start putting emphasis on what are they. Can we dig through and see what these are and what was their function? Sometimes that's going to be impossible, but we need to start looking into trying to reconstruct some of this stuff if possible because it's just absolutely astounding. It's frustrating here because we can't get any more detail. There's obfuscation going on, but still, I really wanted to get closer, and you can't do it without it completely breaking up. And that goes all the way across here to these items on this side where right here I really want to see this closer, and I think you can see why. The software that they use to mask these things, it doesn't mask as much as it just obfuscates. I overuse that word, I'm sorry, but there's no other word that really defines what we're talking about. It makes everything difficult to see. And it blends things in very nicely, but sometimes it makes mistakes. It actually makes a lot of mistakes. And some of the best places to see that are in Keith Laney's Gigapans. His ones that are artificially assisted. We're going to talk about that more probably another time because I do trust his images. I don't care what anybody says. He's very careful with them. And we're going to see how we can really see the metallic nature of much of this stuff in his imagery because you can get so much closer. And he's not altering these. You understand those gigapans, he's going, basically, it's PDS data. Everything that comes back from Curiosity is in planetary data science data, they call it. The bits you need to put together the imagery, to put together all the data, everything, the coordinates, everything you need is there. but you got to know how to put it together, or you can just trust what they do. Well, you got these guys, like Neil Spence is another one. They put these gigapans together off that PDS data. I still say it's not truly raw. I do not believe it's raw. I believe these images are obfuscated and then turned back into PDS data. They're getting it and rendering it better than NASA does, but it's still not the raw data. But Keith Laney's, sometimes you can really, really see where these things were worked over, and you can sometimes really see the metallic substance that's underneath, sometimes dirt, sometimes a fake dirt. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in a minute. This is an NavCam image. It is a mosaic from multiple NavCam images of that same 23-foot tall hill, and that is from the bottom to the top. And I'm going to show you. You can see this is it. The top is chopped off. Our object was over here that we first started with, and here you can see it right here. You can see it right through there. Man, I should have been a weatherman. I should have been a weatherman. I could sit here and show you the hurricanes. Those guys really got to work to learn to do that. This is hard, man. Man, I got respect for these weathermen. Golly, how do they do that? Anyway, when I grew up, was a kid in Del Rio, Texas, down by Mexico, I should have been a weatherman, because the first weather forecast I learned was chilly today, hot tamale. I know that's not funny to everybody, but I learned that as a kid. I thought it was real. Because the first school I went to was San Felipe. Okay. Let me find the correct mouse. Now, this being the NavCam image made up of multiple NavCam shots, you can see the same objects here, and we've discussed this before. This is grayscale. And these images in their original single shots have the information in them that when you use the left and the right together, not only can you see 3D like we use them for, but you can get the Cartesian XYZ coordinates, and that's what the rover uses to navigate, and also from the hazard cams. But they've set this up over there. They've been very nice to do that, made available to the people to use, but there's not, I may be the only one even doing it. This is 23 feet from the bottom to the top. That's why it should not be so hard to believe that that's only a few feet across right there, okay? Now, let's move on to another image of the same. Here is an example of where we have measured this. Don't pay any attention to that. That's from here. Well, you can. That's from here to here. This section here is 9.8 feet, about 3 meters. From the bottom, from this spot to here, 22 feet, 6.8 meters. Elevation rise. And when we take these, it's very important. When you go and take these measurements for elevation, you have to take profile measurements, and they have to be within sight frame, and I will explain that another time. But some people go in there and they just take a distance measurement here, and you cannot do that. Even the profile measurement is going to show you a distance here that says, does that say 12 meters? Okay, if it does, what that means is that is along the baseline. In other words, it is 6.8 meters from here to here, but straight across, it's 12 meters. And you can figure that up and get the average slope from that. I don't remember what it is. I have to think about it. From here across to here is 48.5 feet, 14.5 meters. Okay. That gives you the size. I don't have Martian Missy to put on there right now. Now, here's another shot. We're going to get to something really good in this. This and this I have here. I want to show you the difference in the NavCam mosaic and a MassCam mosaic. These are one of the things we do. We get in here and look at the differences. The mast cam imagery, especially the right mast cam, is going to have a lot better definition. The left mast cam is about the same as far as resolution. The problem is the left mast cam normally takes wide angle shots. The right mast cam takes a tight shot. Therefore, when you blow that left one up with a wide angle, guess what? It's going to pixelate a lot quicker than the right one does. So when we take 3D images out of those, we have to cut the left one in half, and that's why it's always a little bit blurrier compared to the other one that we're using. This is going to be a left mast cam image. I can tell by how quick it gets blurry. You see that? And the nav cam imagery usually gives you something different. A lot of times the texture is going to be more real. Here you can see it's just dark. You can see our object we had looked at up here. And you're just not going to have the resolution on these. Now this is an example of distance. The distance from down here, down at the bottom all the way to the top way back here, is 227 yards, more than 2 football fields, 208 meters. It really is. That's a little bit of a distance, okay? And depending on the angle of your camera and how high it is, notice these distances are about the same across here as far as your screen goes that you're looking at. But notice 0.38 meters, 0.46, 0.61, 0.83. It's exponential as you go up. 16.22, this distance up here compared to right here. That's another thing that people a lot of times aren't understanding, okay? But you can go to the notebook analyst site and you can do this yourself and you can prove these things. 1.4 feet was the distance right here. About, I think that was right along that, yeah, that's that object we've been looking at. So it's only, this object right here is only 1.4 feet from here to here. Approximate. We might miss it a little bit, but that gives you a good idea. And I know you think, what? Only one? That's only about this big. That's it. This is only a 23-foot tall hill. Now, this is interesting because as the rover went on around this way, look at this navigational cam image that it took. You can see that high part of the hill right there. Man, they just really, I think, just really left stuff out here. Look at the right by my head, right about here. Look at the rectangular block back there. Do you see that? It's back here. Here I go trying to be weatherman again. And then look at the shape of this one right here. We got my wine glass down here. How's that happening? Man, that's weird. But see, look at this. And then look up there. Above my head. If we find the mast cam image of this stuff will be masked down to where this does not look quite as squared off, and it will have a weird texture to it. I do think everything was covered in a fallout, but I do not believe everything is covered with red dust. I'm sorry, it's just not. Now, we are going to find, let me check in here. Those first mast cam images that I said I would really like to zoom in on, thanks to Keith Laney, we can. I'm about to show you that. You may have seen this before. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. It looks like a bunch of concrete to me, too. By the way, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Isn't it strange how that got changed? Does everyone who hears that don't drink the Kool-Aid realize where that came from? It's really very morbid. Very. And I remember when it happened. I remember Jimmy Jones at Guyana and the over 900 that died from that. It wasn't Kool-Aid. Who can tell me? It's wine, Kimmy. Who can tell me what that was that they put that cyanide in? It wasn't actually Kool-Aid. You understand it was drinking the Kool-Aid they were buying in. I know I don't mean to insult your intelligence if you already know this, but if you don't know, the Guyana tragedy and the Jimmy Jones, was it the Temple of Life? Was that the name of his? This was way back before Waco. Basically forced everybody to commit suicide because they were about to lose everything. And they got busted out and people died on the tarmac. Had a senator there that died. And it was somebody tell me what it was. Jonestown. Thank you. Jonestown, Guyana. No, it wasn't Gatorade. Oh, it wasn't in the Tylenol. Stop it. Think about it. No, well, it was punch. No, it wasn't Kool-Aid. It was very similar. Come on. It's not as popular as Kool-Aid. What kind of tequila you got going on there? Look, man, I'm cool. You know, I know what good tequila is. That looks like small people always look. I'm sorry, I'm just reading some. What do you guys say? Okay, he tricked it. Pretty sure it was I got reverb again. Is that what you're saying? No. Thank you, Isaac Abrams. Isaac Abrams. If someone said it before Isaac, you're going to have to correct me. But the first one I see is Isaac Abrams. And Matthew Williams came in right after. You're right. It is Flavor Aid. It was Flavor Aid that they put it in, not Kool-Aid. But Kool-Aid gets the free advertisement all the time. And you hear it on sports shows. Oh, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. The blah, blah. The Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Blah, blah, blah. They're getting the advertisement for something good. And poor Flavor Aid's getting nothing out of it. And it was really something very, very bad anyway. I saw the movie. Hey, thank you, Roy Rush. Everybody said Flavor Aid, you're correct. Yep, the movie, and I tell you what, man, that was just weird. Anyway, we're going to now look real quick here at, sorry guys, this is another, this is really not planned. I just had some stuff pulled up here. This really was just a test, and I want to know, somebody said reverb. Did the echo come back? It should not have. Brit's bit. Did you really just come in here with Roll Tide? Did you really do that? Where's Martian Missy? Did you really just come in here with that? Hold on a minute. We're fixing to just see that noise up there. That's what everything's. Did you really just come in here and say that? Wait. Oh my God. Okay. Thank you. No, Bill Lambert, it wasn't fruit. It was Flavor Aid. We'll get back with you on that Roll Tide thing. Martian Missy, when she finds this out, she may leave sick bay. She's big LSU. Okay. Let's switch over to somebody find my controls. Okay. Everybody, listen up. Watch this. Okay. Keith Laney's render is AI render. So much clearer. There's our object there. You may not notice that much different, but one of the main things you need to notice is the obvious obfuscation now. It really shows up in his renders. You're able to get in so close. And down here where I was really wanting to see things, in this area, look at it now. Look at that. Look at this. I mean, look right here. Right here by my elbow. Look at that. Come on, folks. We have got, I don't know if that's really a marking or that's just part of the architecture right here where it has broken off and sheared off. But there's markings back here just to the upper left of that. But man, that is great. Man, that is beautiful. That's the kind of stuff we're looking for. This stuff has just fallen apart and crumbled. We've got big pieces. We're going to find in this, I say that because oops. Well, that was weird. We are going to find more markings. Bear with me. I know where they're at. This is the reason I'm saying that. Well, I tell you what, let's look right above this. Now, there's this first area we were looking at. I do believe back here where my mouse is, it's going to be right. I'm looking at it right now. I believe we've got some here. But right back above this, and this, I think we may have some back here. If we could get this and really work the contrast on this, we might be able to pull this out. Hold tight. Let's see what we got here. Complete obfuscation right here. This is totally colored over. They didn't want us to see that. It was way too obvious. Let's look down here. I know what I'm looking for. We have got something down here right along with this funny looking. See this white line that's going up the middle? This accidental boo-boo. Okay. Let's keep looking along it. Let's zoom in here. You know what? I can't get much closer. It's not markings, but there is a metallic or plastic portion of this that was not masked out. I think because it got near this problem right here. It didn't mask right through here either, and you can see under here. This outer texture is not what that's supposed to be at all. And you can see it on the edge of this right here. Bear with me. Actually, there's a bunch of that. And this is, when you look up Keith Laney, this is going to be 10, what did I say this was? $1454 Quadruple X AI by Keith Laney. Now, let's back over here and take a look at this object that we wanted to see right here. This one really bothers me. Son, that's artificial. I don't know what it is. And the markings probably aren't markings now. We can see it's just whatever is in the inner portion of this. Look. Let's see. Right there. Look at this rectangular. I don't know what to call it. People are ignoring this. Now, here's markings back here. It looks like a letter A. Maybe. I don't know. But it's funny how this stuff is just, people just aren't paying attention to this unless it's you or me. I have no idea what that is. Now, there was an object that somebody had mentioned before that they thought looked like, okay, the head of a crocodile. Before we show you that, look at these two things sitting here. Just prominently sitting here. Whatever these are, they're facing that direction, that way. Spelling Weatherman 101. And you see what I'm talking about. Also, these objects, the software failed to mask this out. This is what all of this should look like. This colorful, metallic, plastic, metal, this fabrication that we see, this gold color right here, this gold color here in silver. I'm telling you folks, that's what everything is. I've gotten laughed at and scoffed at by people when I've said, you know, there's not a single rock in this image. Everything in this has been covered up. And when I say that, I mean it. I don't think for a second there's such a thing. There's not such a thing as a place where there's no rocks, because Marcia, Missy, and I could not find a single rock in Amsterdam or anywhere in the Netherlands. What is up with that? Well, we were there, and Markham And one other town up in there where there's a cheese factory and a fishing village, because we always bring a rock home from places we go. We couldn't find a rock. And we were in the park. I mean, in Amsterdam. So it can happen. What is up with that? I found concrete. Oh, what I was going to show you over here is this supposed head that someone asked me to look at. Does anybody find it yet? Somebody tell me. Anything that looks, there it is. This. Someone mentioned this one time. And I thought, well, I said, well, you know, it's not a crocodile. I said, but we are wondering if there weren't animals that were basically frozen and petrified by whatever went on, and then covered up with and hardened. Don't know. And also, are there statues? Yeah, sure, there could be of animals. When I look at this closer, I'm not really going to scoff at what this person said, because if you look at this now, and I know it looks like a long shot. Where did I see this? Somewhere in here. Hold on, bear with me. I can't bring this up as close here as I can normally. Somewhere in in one of the renders of this, I found what really looked like an eyeball in here, and it may be, this may not even be the one that I saw it in. Is that it? Is this the one? Somebody tell me what this is. What do you think this is? Because I can see pieces of metal here. I don't think it's a stone. I think that's the trickery. It's sitting on top of something right here. I see metal under here. But I honestly don't see what I saw before. I think I must have obviously been looking at another one. I think it was probably right here. I think this is where I said the eyeball would have been. I really don't think that's what this is, though. This thing, how big is that going to be? If we're talking 20 feet, all the way to the top of this. You know, this thing's only, maybe a foot across, maybe the size of a reptile's head, but I just don't. If that's what it is, they have really, really done a job on it. It look, whatever it is, it's been torn away here, and it's just unidentifiable. There's a metal chunk sticking up back here, but you should go look at this image, folks. There's a lot to see, and there's more covered up than there is to see. I noticed this completely flat area back here, coming out of the side of my head right here, that loops around like an upside down J, or a snake's head looping around. And that's a small area. It looks to me like maybe a foot or so less in length. But there's just so much going on here that it's frustrating that we can't make out the full picture because of the obfuscation. Look at that. It looks completely harmless, but I don't think it is. I don't think any of this is. Look at this. Get in here and look around and look at these areas like this. I'm not an anomaly hunter. I'm trying to find out what's going on here. The anomalies, I guess I'm looking for, are the mistakes that their software is making. Okay? I don't say, oh, there's anomalies out there. The whole thing's an anomaly because we're being fooled. There's metal underneath every one of these images. All this stuff is metal or something other than, than a natural rock. You see things like this, and you see the metal area up here. You just look at it and you can tell, something's going on here, but you just can't tell. And it's masterful, actually, the way that they've done it. But I wanted everyone to understand this image and kind of how it all fits together, and that I've talked to Keith Laney about doing a few more of these large ones like this in the AI, especially on so 1033. Man, folks, I'm telling you, as much as that looks like in some places like just a butte, it's not. It's not. And they're fooling us with this. It's just incredible. And sometimes I'm amazed at how it looks, but all these things like this are pieces of the outer covering. And it's these, they're not huge. It's just, but it's so sad that we're not to be trusted. Is it? And that's something I really wonder about. Is it that we're not to be trusted with the truth, or is there someone keeping them from telling us the truth? Because I got to be honest with you, I'm beginning to wonder how this can be kept at the level that it is. There's got to be a bigger force going on, and if there is, that means they're watching me. I mean, I know I'm watched. I'm kept at a level that is acceptable, and I can't go past that. I can only do with what they present, and you know, if you've read the Brookings report, was it the 60s that they came out with that? That kind of set a precedent, it seems, that we are not going to be told, and they had their reasons for it. Uh, One of the big reasons is religious chaos. They feel that if the acknowledgement of life on Mars or anywhere would break down our religious structures, and we need that as people. We need structure, and we need religious structure to operate. Is that true? Just wondering, is that true? Do we really? Because we don't really discuss stuff like that on here. Stay away from that. But you know what? My opinion is, what's religion got to do with God? Religion, once man touches it, it's corrupt. Let me see what a few of you are saying here, and we're going to get off of here. Gorilla Killer, you really think that? Gorilla Killer says there's so many more pictures of so many other things that are way more identifiable than this. I don't want to call you a government operator, but I'm getting kind of worried about you. Really? I told you that this was not a really a structured program, that I just had some stuff pulled up on there that I had been looking at. This is not a structured program. Go over, Gorilla Killer, you really believe that? Go over to marsfam.net and look at my evidence page I've been building. Look in that. Do you really think, are you just saying that? Do you really think that? Because I absolutely said that this is not really a structured broadcast. I was just checking out some stuff, and I did have this pulled up because I was making some comparisons, and I was just kind of showing people what I was looking at. Um, as far as expanding all this to the world, they've already put a stop to that. Google does not let this channel grow or any others like it. So that's why things like MarsFam is there. You go over there and look at that evidence page, those things on there, how are you going to dispute that? And I haven't added to that in a few weeks, but we're going to keep adding to it. I think one thing from this entire image that I just showed, or group of images, is even on marsfam.net as far as the evidence page. And that evidence section is a section of things that I believe cannot be disputed. I just really do not believe that they can be disputed. So you may just have to tell me, I mean, really what you mean by that. I don't know. Michelle Lafreniere, what are you doing in here? Sarah Michelle Lafreniere, I see you. What are you doing in here? And you know damn good and well why I'm asking that. No, no, I'm picking on you, Gorilla Killer. I'm picking on you. No, you're right. I was just making sure you understood. You know what? I just kind of singled you out just in case anyone else was wondering or didn't catch that. Okay. No, you can't offend me, and you really didn't. But one of the things that we're going to be doing on this channel is we're going to be bringing in the people that develop images like we just saw. People like Keith Laney. You know, the guy was contracted to NASA at one time. And my understanding is he actually uh, helped find landing sites and stuff. And I'm going to talk him into being on here. I'm absolutely going to talk him into it. Uh, Neil Spence is another one that does good work. There's others we're just going to have to see how cantankerous they are. And there's a few other areas that I want to explore. And you scary 2009, you're from Central Texas, but not Austin. Now, why are you saying that? Hey, Cindy Johns, what was I nice about? And Gorilla, don't worry, Gorilla, I'm just picking on you because you were picking on me. That's true about JPL, a smoking monkey, and but I think it goes way beyond that. Yeah, that's part of it. It's a money issue, but it's going to go way beyond that. I really do think they the number of people that I've talked to that were associated with all that. I mean, that really has gone on. There was JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory people that did know about this all the way back in the 70s. But man, they really, I mean, some of them were tight-lipped due to their jobs and so on and so forth. But some, I mean, even after the fact, it's just like, you know, we can't say anything until they make an announcement. We can't can't say anything else. I don't know why on that, but it's almost like some of them. It seemed like the fear of God or Satan was put on them because man, they're just not going to talk about it past a certain. A few of them they'll go to a certain degree. Yeah. It's there. Yeah, but they won't go into detail. And the other one that it's come from a few NASA engineers is we cannot confirm nor deny when asked about did they find life on Mars. We cannot confirm nor deny. Well, you know what that means. But they will not talk about it. Ashley, say C-C-O-S-E-A-Y. How do you say that? Yeah, but what stoplight? Zingomatic 101. What Mars stoplight? Uh, the other heavenly bodies, they started changing. Now, I had some people tell me that there was a meeting somewhere about some images that I had put on a video that caused them to rethink the way that those things were being obfuscated because I was able to get through them. And they said that my name was the one that was said. And it kind of worried me at the time because I really didn't want my name to come up, honestly. And I don't want that changed, but apparently they have. They're making it hard to get through. Cassini, for one, took images of those moons of Saturn that was very easy to cut through. Folks, those are not natural satellites around Saturn. Absolutely not. Not the ones they took pictures of. Those are not natural satellites. Those are artificial. They're huge. I'm going to tell you, our moon's artificial. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe me on any of it. And all I really did on those images was really use some deep contrast on it. You just have to sit there and work it, and the stuff comes out. Uh, it's pretty scary what's going on there. But those Prometheus, what in the hell is that? And we're going to do a whole thing on that and have some guests on here. Do you folks realize that we pulled out some uh, imagery from NASA that they archived that absolutely shows spacecraft that's non-human made? I mean, nobody's got that stuff, and I presented that several times, and it's not taken seriously. I found every bit of that. I don't think anybody else was doing it, but I heard, well, they archived 20,000 plus images. They went back and took pictures of them. They digitized them, and I just thought, well, you know what? Maybe some of this stuff they really didn't go in and blot this stuff out, scrub it as they called it. They didn't on a bunch of it. It's there, and there is one very, very distinct craft. And where is that? I tell you what, hold on. Bear with me. We're going to look at that one at least, if I can find it. I know I have it right here somewhere. I say I do. Hold on. I may not be able to bring up the entire. I don't know where that. Yeah, hold on. Is that it? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm going to apologize here because I'm not prepared for this. I can't bring up the entire image with the moon behind it and all. But if anyone remembers this, what I'm about to show you, and there it is. That's exactly the way it is on NASA's site. If it's still there, I hadn't checked in this last probably year. It was there for several years after I found it. I figured they would have gone and deleted it. I'll have to find the whole image. I mean, I've got it. It's from not it. What is this? Apollo 14 or 16, image 9911, image of the moon. I just saw a little dot, and when I started blowing it up, there it was. I do not know how big that is, but the thing, because I don't have a reference, but one of the big things about this is not only does it have a couple of antennae on the front of it, this is not a passenger. This is where it's hooked to. I'll show you in a second. It's got landing skids. I mean, folks, this is bona fide non-human spacecraft. We know who took the image. NASA did from the LEM module. I mean, it's bona fide stuff, but nobody will touch this. I try to get them to do anything with it on any of the news channels. They just they're like, we can't touch that. Did a few things here to try to get through and see more detail with it. Of course, when you do that, you lose some things. You can see here, it's got clamps right here. I don't know if you can see the straight line here where the bottom clamp and the top clamp come together like pinchers. Now, if I could find it, actually, I tell you what, we'll do this on a production again. We've got a couple of videos on this. I figure those pinchers, that clamp probably opens up, is what it looks like to me. If you can see it right here by my head, this part comes down, and then you got this part here. And I actually created a 3D environment when I sent the Apollo craft through this. But it's huge. I don't know how big it is. I say it's huge. I do not know because we do not have anything to compare it to. We have no reference. But it's got two antennae like coming out the front of it. I do not believe this is a pilot or passenger. I believe these are hooked to this. I've been accused of all sorts of things on this, from faking it to everything else, but no, it's there, and I will be showing you where this was. Or you can go look. If you go to marsfam.net, and we've changed some things. If you go to the section That's No Moon, you will see the link to these videos on this. You know, if you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it, including the space station that we discovered around the moon. Now, that was one of the videos that's got about 6 million views on it before they stifle me, because it's real. I saw it, and on that one, I did have to increase the brightness or the exposure on their image. It was from the 1972 Apollo 16, 17 mission, where they imaged the far side of the moon, the far side. And around the outer portion, I noticed they didn't, when they went and digitized this, they didn't crop out all of it. And I saw something. I said, what is that? Is it a smudge? When I worked it with the exposure, it's a space station. Very clear space station. Kind of looks like, you know, Space Odyssey a little bit. It's got these circular areas with a, I guess you call it like a rod going through it. Very large. We do have the moon to compare it to, but we can't really tell where it's sitting within it. But it's a space station of some type. 1972. I don't think it was ours. But that's just kind of hush hush on that. Nobody will touch it, but it's real. And as far as I know, you can still download that image and do it yourself and look at it. That is also on Mars Fam on the page. It's not, That's No Moon. It's a space station. You got to wonder, and if you've ever looked at some of Saturn's moons, yeah, you got to wonder if Lucas didn't have insider information, folks. You want to see this? You want to see that space station? I can't believe y'all have not seen, really, y'all really have not seen that, have you? I wasn't going to stay on here this long, folks. You know, we've been on here an hour and 20 minutes. Okay. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up. Hold on. Bear with me while I pull this up. I know I got it here somewhere. Oh, well. Here's another one before we go to that. Check this out. I pull this out, one of their images. That craft right there looks very much like numerous craft that I have seen in telescope imagery. I've been trying to find the sources of them. Someone has captured a bunch of craft out there that look like this. I believe it's the same ones, like whole fleets of them. So I need to find those. In fact, I was going to make a production on it, except I have not been able to nail down the source of those shots. Well, hold on. I didn't mean to do that. Bear with me. I'm going to show you this, and I guess you're going to like it. You're going to have to. Just bear with me. I've got it here somewhere. Oh, well, you know what? I'm going to show you something else before I get there. Where is this? This is the kind of stuff that you run into when you're looking at their archives. Now, what's interesting about this? And yes, I have highlighted this one, but you'll find stuff like that. I mean, I've got hundreds of images like this where you can see stuff flying around from their archives. But just one image like this, someone will say, well, that's just an anomaly on the lens. No, I really doubt it is. Hold on, you're going to like this. Hold on, I think that this space station thing, I know I have here, just bear with me. You guys taught me into a lot of stuff here. You know, if Martian Missy weren't working sick bay tonight, I would not be doing this. You do know that, right? Ah, here we go. You ready for this? Okay. Here we go. I found something. Okay. This is image 4072351, the backside, the far side of the moon from 1972. It's a beautiful image. This thing actually was released, but mainly you just saw it in a newspaper or a magazine or maybe a textbook. Not much detail. When I saw this, the first thing I did was think, well, you know what? They had to take the film when they digitized this, and they probably cropped some stuff in it. How much do they crop? And I got to look and I said, well, they didn't crop all of it. Look at these little dots here. What's going on? And I said, what is this? See this by my head? I said, is that a smudge? Well, maybe it's just a smudge. And I saw some other things down here. I said, what are these little dots and stuff down here? And maybe, just maybe, they left enough on here for me to bring something out. Well, the first thing that I brought forward was this. And I don't know what the hell that is. You know, I looked at that and I said, man, what is that? Well, it gets better. I don't think that's a smudge. I think that's something I brought out. But down here, getting me out of the damn way. It's going to be behind my head. Now, you see it right here? Not only that, but there's a craft right here. This craft is probably a lot closer to us. This thing was right on the edge. And let me show you what this looked like. Here's the way they had it. And you may not be able to see it here, but yeah, okay, right here. I noticed that there was a little bit of something going on. And all I did was took it in Photoshop and I worked the exposure. And when I got done with the exposure, I sat back and looked and I said, oh my God, look at this. Wow. It just blew me away. We have a some type of space station. It looks like it goes at least from up here down to here. These circular areas are around it, and we have a module here. Not only that, but something here is extending from the moon. This is when I got captivated by stuff that was going on around the moon, because when I saw that, and there's a bunch of garbage down here I can't tell, I said, you know what? We've got something interesting happening here. This is a, okay, here we go. This is something I made to bring me back. This is something I made to do a comparison. The top one, you can kind of see right here where that came from. And folks, I didn't draw that. And I would really like to have the original film. I'm sure there's a lot more definition in it. But now you can really see it. I mean, this is real. Was I contacted by someone because of this? Maybe. Maybe. How did I know? I just found it. Was I contacted? Maybe. Listen to me. It's real. This is real. And there it is in their released picture. So it gets so ridiculous that after I put a video out about this, a website, I believe it was over in the UK, put out a debunking video that said, Jimmy Roberts is so stupid. Does he not realize they didn't have Photoshop in 1972? I mean, come on. What are they talking about? Because I mentioned Photoshop in it. I don't understand. And there's people that will listen to that. What they did was they rephotographed the image and put it up. And here we go. This is exactly how this image is on their side, if it's still there. I believe it probably is. It is image 9911, Apollo 14, folks. You see it? There she blows. Why am I the one that found this? Because nobody else was looking, because these haven't been there forever. These have been in their archives since 1972. Okay. It wasn't until after the year 2000 that I believe, that they decided to get all these digitized, which means taking pictures of the film, the actual images, and this is what happened. Imagery that was going to be released was scrubbed heavily. A lot of the other imagery was just kind of looked at here and there. If they saw something obvious that might confuse people, as the verbiage was, they scrubbed it. 20,000 images, though. A lot of stuff was missed. It was just put back in archives. Since 1972, though, after the year 2000, somewhere, it may have been after 2010, I have to look it up, they decided to go back and pull these out and digitize them. There were things that weren't scrubbed. Go look at the videos that I have. You can get to them just straight from YouTube or from Mars Fam, like I said. And several Apollo missions, stuff is everywhere, and they didn't realize they missed it. The kids probably who went and were in charge of doing this don't even realize that this stuff was supposed to have been scrubbed. It didn't get scrubbed, and it's all been forgotten. It's like there's UFOs in these images. There it is. That's just how they released it. You know, that's, to me, that's a big deal. This is pretty irrefutable right here. But you know, what do you do? And there's some of the shots that I was showing you of it. There's that area right there with the clamp. And here we go. I don't even really want to get into this, but this is the way we broke through one of the moons. Daphnis, as presented by NASA. It's 5 miles across, 8 kilometers. After deep contrast applied. We've got a lot of stuff on this. That is not a moon, folks. That is a spacecraft. Okay? And they're treating them differently now. I can't get through them like I used to could. That's a spacecraft. That's a very large spacecraft. They have a function. They have a function, and you know, we've got the rings of Saturn, and there's things that are to be kept in place. And if you read the verbiage of the description from NASA and other science writings about what the moons do to keep these rings intact, they have a function, and they're artificial. This is absolutely an artificial. Should be able to look at that and tell it's artificial there. This is very similar to what's going on with the Mars objects, folks. We're getting fooled with stuff like this. This is what it looks like. And it's amazing that the texture and the color were to come out the way it did, but it did. And it's just because I didn't give up, okay? I've got thousands of things like this. A lot of it I've never presented out there. And I really want to get some other people on here to talk about it with us. And I tell you what we're going to do, because what time is it? I've been on here for an hour and a half, and this was just a test. But, you know, I love talking about this stuff because it's real. The reason that we started this channel and put out these videos was so that we would start opening the eyes of people. And that's the reason we started doing Mars Fam, is because YouTube is choking us down. And we need to have a place for people to go and say, hey, look at this, this, and this. These aren't fuzzy images. This is the real deal on Mars and in space. Okay. What I want to do here is I want to look at a few of your comments because I'm actually very tired. I have been up since very early, and I have a very sad story in that Saturday we're going to be putting up Christmas decorations, and I hope Missy doesn't see this video. Isaac Abrams, yep, that's a ship. And for those of you who came into this channel 8 or whatever and haven't seen that, really go watch those. We did some detailed work on these moons of Saturn. What is that? They've discovered what, 60, is it 67, 68? I doubt any of them are natural. But the ones that we see images of, there's no way they're natural. These comets are not natural. And I know people think it's a little bizarre, the things that we found with the comets, but the Russian discovered comet 67P, that thing is not natural at all, and it changes shape. It does, it's mechanical, and it changes shapes. That's just all there is to it. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. The model that they put out for it, that blob, looks nothing like the 6 or 7 shapes that it actually takes. And if you don't know about that, you need to go watch those videos too. Man, this stuff's real. Space is not what you think it is. Things are not as far away as you think they are either. Don't ask me to prove it. It's been proven to me, and I've proven it to myself. I'm going to give you clues on it, and you can figure it out for yourself. The stuff is out there. The lander is on Mars. These landers are on Mars. Mars is a true planet. It does exist. The rover is not in Canada, is not in Nova Scotia. Understand the reasons for thinking that. It is on Mars. Mars is not as far away as we think it is. The moon is not 200 and what is it, 34,000, 37,000 miles away. It's not. It's been proven to me. I've proven it to myself. Look into it. Think about it. Okay? Think about the ridiculousness of the things that we're told and the distances of light years. The ridiculousness of the light traveling that far. Think about what I'm saying. You know, we're suckers, and there's a reason for it. Yep. Eldoro Del Rota. Where are you from, Eldora? I'm just curious. Central Scrutinize, you say the moon is occupied? Well, yes. But by whom? Who do you think that is? And another thing y'all need to look at if you haven't seen it, one of those videos that I was talking about that covers a lot of this was they're here, giant alien spacecraft in our solar system. I give it wild names like that because that's what it takes to get people to look sometimes. But whether they're alien or not, the craft are there. And there are a lot of craters on Mars, excuse me, on the moon that are not circular at all. They're 6-sided, hexagonal. Look at it. Mercury has 6-sided craters. Sirius, the dog star, one of the planets they won't let be a planet, has 6-sided craters. Several of the spherical moons around Saturn have 6-sided craters. Huge. Why is that? Think about it. 67P, the comet has what looks like more than a crater. It looks like an entrance of some type. Six-sided. Six-sided. What builds six-sided nests that connect on our planet? I'm just saying, they're not circular. Hey, Rabbit, that orbiting station 250 to 300 miles long. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me too. It's really hard to tell because we don't have a reference as to the depth of how far it is this way or that way against the moon. You can't tell. So I'd say it's pretty big, but and it looks like there's another craft near it, and it would be very large too, or maybe it's just closer to us. When we're getting out there in that area out there, in what we're calling space, it's going to be really, really difficult to gauge the size right now. You know, unless you can see something coming over the edge of the moon, and then it's still going to be tough. The references are tough. But for those of you that hasn't seen that, this stuff, I'm glad you're getting to see it now because I realize some people came in later. Plausible. Hey, David Charles, NASA made the same observations as you. Well, of course, yeah, they know. They really know what's going. Well, NASA. Who are we talking about? NASA. I don't think everyone in NASA is privy. That is a modular organization. You know, everybody does their job, but I think the privy, the need to know, are very few. I don't know the number. I really don't. But I think there's very few people really know what's going on. You could be working in the control room and not really know the true nature of what's going on. Just because you're looking at the images coming in, I don't think those are live, unscathed images. I really don't. There's no way. All those people cannot know the truth and keep their mouths shut. There's just no way. I think the reason that they're able to say, we're not changing the images, we're not lying, is because they don't think they are. I think they're getting fooled just like the rest of us. I think only the upper echelon of the elite within that science organization are the ones that get to see the real stuff. I really do. Now, I can't sit here and prove that to you because I don't know the exact levels here and the number of people involved in that, but think about it, man. There's just no way that when you say NASA, that you could be talking about the general population of the workforce at all, or even one segment of it. There's no way that they can know and keep that secret. I think they've got to really, really keep that to a minute few, you know, because we're talking about thousands and thousands of people through the years and the contractors through the years. Between JPL and Malin cameras and others, that there's no way all these people could keep that a secret. Then again, when someone does come out and say, I saw this or that, they try to make a fool out of them. Well, those of you who say we need more Jimmys, I don't. You have to ask Missy about that. I don't think she could deal with any more of me. I'm really not that strange. I know there's a few people that know me personally watching this that are laughing, but I'm really not. I'm not that much of a goofy nerd or anything. It's just I notice things. I notice a lot of stuff, and I've been made privy to some stuff through the years for undisclosed reasons. And there's a certain amount of things that I can talk about through the images that we see. But because I know the stuff is there, maybe that's why I look for certain things that others wouldn't. That doesn't mean I've found more stuff than others, but I do think I found more than anyone else in these NASA images because no damn body else is out there really looking at it like that. I presented these images that you just saw years ago. You can look at the YouTube videos. They're sitting there. They've been there for years. And, you know, people like you will take it seriously, but the rest of the world will not. The news agencies won't. They can't. They can't. They'll lose their jobs, their pensions, and all that, and that's what makes the world go round. You got to survive. So they just like, I'm not touching that. I'm nearly out of my wine. Oh. I agree. Uh, Eldora, Dorota, that looks like a crap flying away from it. And we will bring some more of this up on another episode. But if you want, excuse me, all y'all, it went down the wrong pipe. Got a Texas chokehold going on here. Anyway, go to marsfam.net and go into the It's Not a Moon section. And there are several videos that we put together a couple of years ago on all these images. There's a bunch of it. And we really zoom in and show that, man, that even Apollo 13, when they looped around the moon scared for their lives, they took some pictures. And there's some good ones in there too. I mean, just straight up the way they took it, you don't have to do I didn't have to do any work. It's just there. And again, why did we never see it before? Because it's just some years back, 10, 15 years ago, that they digitized it and put it out there. And I happened to go look and said, man, I've downloaded all of them nearly. And yeah, I spent countless hours going through them. That's a fun life, isn't it? No, actually, really, it doesn't take me long to do it. What I'm doing here is I'm reading what some of you are saying. Kester Burnett, debunker's reasoning doesn't even make sense most of the time. Yeah, I know. It just depends. Like I said before, they shoot away the crop circle thing for a while by saying they paid a couple of drunks to say they did it in the UK back in the late 80s, early 90s. And people believed it, at the time. But I don't know what I'm being honest with you. I don't know what's going on with the crop circles. I do not know. I have no idea. Harry Saturn. Thank you. I think your name's Saturn. That last name, I'm trying to be careful. Note Galley, this is real. Yes, it is. I've got a ton of that. And I say, y'all don't have to, it's already out there. Just go look at it. But we're going to make some more presentations on it because I've got some other people that need to come in and talk about it too. One thing about that craft from the 70s with the landing skids on it, it's got landing skids. That thing was going to land, or it had landed. I mean, that's a good shot right there, folks. I will let you know. I'm going to have to go back. In fact, undisputable evidence of alien spacecraft, I think is what the title to that was called. Okay? I'm not going to look. It's on the Mars fan page or just through YouTube. The links are there on how to get it and download it yourself, how to go to the page and download it yourself. I'm curious if it's still there. I mean, for over 2 years after I presented it, it was still there. They hadn't taken it down. And I encouraged people at the time to download it because I thought they would, but they've left it alone. Sometimes that's the best thing to do because nobody's paying attention to it anyway, except me and you guys. So why not leave it, I guess? Interview Apollo 16 astronauts. They're not talking to no. Hey, look, the first man to step on the moon didn't even want to talk to people. He did not like whatever went on. I'm sorry, Have you ever watched any of those? Have you watched like the Apollo 8, Apollo 11, Apollo 11 conference after they got back? Those guys were shaking. They were sitting there twiddling pencils, and we never thought to look and see if there were any stars. That was a very bizarre. Something's not right about that whole deal. And I'm not saying they didn't go. I'm just saying something is not right. You really analyze what was going on. You've got these three guys that just went and walked on the moon. They're twiddling pencils around. They're nervous. These are guys that have been to the moon. They've been to hell and back, training and everything, and they're sitting there nervous about a news conference. That's not right. And the one that gets me, I forget which one of them said when he was asked, what do the stars look like? Just looked around at each other. Did you see any stars? We never looked. Man, there was something bad wrong. And one of them in general, you know who I'm talking about, he did not want to talk about it. He disassociated himself. His words to one man were, they told us to point the cameras away. Yeah, there was some bad stuff that went on. Oh, people come in asking about what's in this cup. It's what I'm going to have to go refill, and we're going to shut down because this was just supposed to be a test tonight, folks. It is wine. It is red wine. It is a Cab Sav, a fine black box Cab Sav. We drink a lot of red wine around here. I'm a fan of red wine. Missy drinks it. We drink it every night. I'm not saying we get drunk on it, but we drink red wine. We like red wine. It's good for you. Eldora Dorota, again, where did I miss it? Your name interests me. Where are you? Your name keeps coming up here. I just want to know. Yeah, Marcus Allen, this is just another impromptu video. And amazingly, we've kept close to 200 people. When I say nothing better to do, really stuff like this is great because what are you going to do? There's only a handful of television shows that we watch on a regular basis as ones we've already seen because there's so much trash going on out there. So, I mean, what are you going to do? We might as well get together and try to figure out what's going on. They're apparently not going to let the channel grow and reach more people. So we did at one point, I think we still got, 87, 88,000 subscribers to this channel. They stopped the growth before we got to 90. But it's just by word of mouth. I mean, my goal has been to get a cumulative consciousness to change on this planet that, we've never been alone. This is really trickery. And it was working, it was growing, and they quickly put a stop to that. But we can still talk, and we can tell people. I still tell people all the time. And that is the reason for the MarsFam.net evidence area. I'm not going to put fuzzy images in there. We're really scrutinizing those, me and a few other guys, to try to think about what needs to go in there, because when you look at it, you need to see something rectangular, square, or that really looks like a definitive object that's been manufactured. And I think we're doing that, but we're trying to be careful with it. But we're doing it for you because you need to have somewhere to go to show people. So look at this. What do you mean everything's fuzzy? I need to put some clips on here from the Mind Dog show I was on several weeks ago. A guy in New York. He's a skeptic. Now, he's not a cynic, but a skeptic. A little bit of a difference. And he's fairly open-minded, but he's a skeptic. But showed him some of the images, and he said, that looks artificial to me. I mean, he's convinced now. He's just, he asked me, is that on NASA site? You got that from NASA? Yes. People don't realize this stuff is there. They just don't realize it. But it's up to us to change that. But we don't want to show them junk. We don't want to show them images that are just people are very subjective to some of their images, these anomaly hunters. They'll get something, they'll see something going on, they'll blow it up, say, do you see this? Look at it, look at it. And then all of us, we see a bunch of squares, pixels, and what the hell did I just look at? Okay? And I've done that too, and you have to get away from that. You have to back out and say, this is something that everybody sees immediately. Even though the rest of it may be something, yes, and it probably is. We can't be showing that. We have to show the images that are absolutely definitive, like the stuff I just showed you around the moon. Man, that's good stuff right there. But, and as a matter of fact, how can you even debate that any of it? It's coming from NASA. They just didn't realize they had it up there. I think they missed it. Charlene Sampson. Cleve, bad job. Mutual contact with the others. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but the Charlene Sampson, love the ships you showed from the solar eclipse of 2017. Yes, yes. Nicholas High, H-E-I, is the man who sent me those images. He didn't. What he sent were dots in the sky. They were there, and I've got a lot more from him from that. And he said, "Man, can you bring anything out in this?" He says, these were craft that were there." And oh man, those are good. Those are real. Those are real. Absolutely, those are real. 1, 2, 3. What was there? 7 of them in that one image. Anybody wonders what we're talking about? You can find it on the YouTube channel on Mars Fam, and it's not a moon. I forgot the name of that video. What did we call it? It had to do with the solar eclipse and that mountain in Washington, right? Am I correct? I'm sorry, I see so much stuff and it's late at night, and I have drank several glasses of wine. But we brought out, I was very surprised at what came out in those images. I was very, very surprised. And those are some things that we should bring out on here too. The still shots from that. That's some of the best stuff ever, I think. I really do. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, Daphnis is a spaceship, but so are all of the images that they've shown from Saturn. I want y'all to see something. Look at this. One more thing. So you got this part of Comet 67P, which, by the way, looks like all of these things. Every one of these is Comet 67P. Sorry, I've lost contact with that screen. Bear with me. I do not know why. Please bear with me, folks. Well, I tell you what, let's go back over there. Okay. If you don't know anything about this comet, every one of these, I don't know what's going on here. I can't zoom in. You're going to immediately say, "Some of those look like animals." Oh yeah, and they've got working parts on them. They will totally freak you out. This thing came tumbling through several years ago, and we got these images from it, and I believe it was the European Space Agency, in conjunction with NASA, of course. They helped. They sent Rosetta there to look at this thing, and it's not a comet. But some things we're calling comets are not comets at all. Now look at, I want to show you one of the close-ups as it passed by this so-called comet. Not only does this thing look like a beast right here, eye and everything, and yeah, maybe I'm just being a little imaginative, but I don't think I'm imagining things when I show you there's a damn 300-yard drill bit right there. And I'll be damned if I can't zoom in any further. We'll fix that next time. That is a huge drill bit. Look at it. What does that comet need with a drill that size? I mean, really. That's a little big for it, don't you think? I'm being sarcastic, but come on. If you've looked at any of our 67p videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. This is ridiculous. One guy told me he thought it was a ray gun. What's a ray gun? What do you mean a ray gun? Ray? Hold on. Here in a minute, I've got a ray gun. Got it right here. What do you mean a ray gun? We don't know. That's TV. That's Star Trek stuff. Ray gun. Real life, that's a drill bit. And I'm sorry I can't zoom in any further because it is very clear. It is huge. Approximately 300 yards, 3 football fields long. And it's got a thing down here. It's aiming right about here, but this object right here, I don't know what that is. There's artificial things all over this comet. That's not a comet, folks. And if we discovered 2 drill bits, it's not on this image, and I'd have to look for it. There's at least two drill bits sticking out of this comet. And again, here's this monster. There it is. The monster, and let's see, he's going to look about like, which one of these? Well, none of them really. I'm telling you, this is the most ridiculous charade. One of the most ridiculous charades they've tried to put across, but everybody just kind of missed it. This upper left, if you look at the official model that was created by the NASA folks, it's this one on the upper left, and there we go. Thank you, Jimmy, you big dummy. This one right here, gonna be way over there on the other side. It looks about like this one. There's no reason for it to look like this, or this. It changes shape. It is a real life transformer, and we found the mechanical parts on it. Go look at those videos and you'll see how it moves, and we'll bring it up on here one day. I've actually constructed some things where we can move a lot of the parts. We can't see all of them, but we can see some of them. I mean, there's hooks, there's what looks like front end loaders. I mean, there's all sorts of things on this. I don't think anybody's running it anymore. I think it's tumbling through space. Nobody's there, and that's the reason that they were able to land on it. They landed on it. It bounced fillet. The lander bounced around and then broke. And you know, just yeah, God, the ridiculousness of the things that they tell us and we believe. Oh, God. I hope nobody goes to bed and has bad dreams about this, because I'm telling you, this stuff is ridiculous. I mean, our intelligence has been insulted, and it's our own fault, folks. It's our own fault. This right here is the only thing I know of to be a ray gun. Now, this is a real ray gun. We got to quit living in fantasy world and television. It's early, Jimmy. Well, it is. What time is it? At least I can read my comments this time. Mm. Mm. Eldora, I'm still trying to figure out where it's just bugging me. I've gone anal on this, and I feel like I'm missing comments. Yeah, Susan Wade. Yeah, hello, Susan. What's up? Have you sent any emails out in a while, Susan? I agree, it's late. That's why I'm fixing to hit the bed. Flipside Games. Yeah, I know we're reaching people. It just really disappoints me that they they realized we were reaching people and they kind of put a stop to really reaching any more at the rate we were going. Understand, we were getting 150 to 300 subscribers per day for about a year, and that just stopped, bam, just like that, and it was intentional. But no, I love everyone that's here. We just got to spread the news, by word of mouth and however we can do it. Because Google, which now owns YouTube, will not do it anymore. Yeah, the Klingons will not pull me over. The Romulans might. I hear you, Central Scrutinizer. Art Hicks, I don't know why you got to bring colonoscopies into this. The best thing about that is you don't remember a thing. All I'm going to say. Eldor, there's a lot more things on the surface, and yeah, and as far as it being covered, you need to think about this. There may be dirt, there may be soil covering these objects that are hurtling through space. That doesn't mean they're natural. Has it ever occurred to anyone that maybe a thick layer of soil is what's needed to protect an object traveling through space, as opposed to whatever the Apollo crafts had on them? They're not that big, but think about it. That's what's protecting the Earth at the level that we're living on. Why wouldn't an object that is miles or hundreds of miles in length or circumference, why wouldn't it be covered in soil as well? Just because we see soil on it does not mean it's natural. Okay? I think that's something we should consider. It is funny, Flipside Games, two antenna. Why does that thing have two antennas? I mean, its feelers are in stereo, I guess. That is interesting. I mean, they're antennas. It looks like a bug, doesn't it? But if you really take a look at it, I mean, the canopy, it's got a canopy. It's got a section on the back that's, I mean, I don't know what is what. It's got like a backpack on it. It's got a back section. It's got landing skids, two antenna, and a canopy. I mean, oh, yeah, Get Medieval, we're still up. We're about to close it down in about 2 minutes. Hey, Art Hicks, KFC Original. This is Popeye's country down here, man. That's KFC. KFC and churches, they fight for second place. Okay, this is Popeye's area, man. Wildcat Platoon, yes, it does. And go in there and look at those videos that we have on, and we really zoomed into some of that stuff. There's structures on that comet. Um, I just, it's just hard to say whether or not. I mean, it's impossible to say for me to say whether or not that thing is functional anymore. I don't know what it was. It was a craft of some type, huge, huge craft, um, miles and miles in length, but there's no way to tell whether it's still functional. It's hurtling, it's kind of tumbling as it went by. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. And I guess in space you could tumble, and you know, you might get a little sick looking around at things, but I don't know. I don't think it's really going to affect anything. Is it supposed to tumble like that? Um, I hear you about the earth-shattering boom. That's another story, but I understand the space modulator thing. Yeah, there's supposedly a story behind that too. No, we don't. No, we don't live in Bojangles, but this is East Texas. You know, you get on down in East Texas, and lots of Louisiana. There's not a lot of difference down there. So we're way past our allotted time here, folks, and so we're going to sign off. And unless we were probably going to do a test on the see, that was a failed test right there. We'll probably do a test on the other set that we have right now next time, where we have a guest in, and I don't know who the guest is going to be. Martian Missy will not agree, but we're going to have a guinea pig guest for that. So that will be the last probably test that we do. This was supposed to be about 10-15 minutes, and we ran to 2 hours, but that's okay. I don't care. Whatever. I've enjoyed talking to everyone. Lord Z says night, all night, Jimmy. Lord Z, good night. Hey, everyone, listen. No problem, Ghost 274. Charlene Sampson, yeah, we're going to do a lot of live vids, and I keep on saying this, but there will be much more structured than this, and with other people in here. But you know what? We will have impromptu ones also, just like this. Me drinking wine and probably showing you the pictures that I'm not even supposed to show you on this stuff. And you know, one of these I'm not even. Yeah, it was okay. There's a few of them I had to get rid of as far as where they came from, but everything that I have now that I show came officially from NASA's website, so we're safe on that. Everyone, if you're within this time zone within a few hours, I'm going to say good night. Those of you who is becoming morning, shame on you for staying up all night. Either that or you got up really early and you're going to pay for it later. But we'll see you in a few days from the other set, and we're going to try out our um, multicam. I just got to find me a guinea pig. And we will see you at that time. Until then, we really don't have a sign off phrase, do we? Uh, all I can say is see y'all.